no further ado, I would love to get started with a very big question. So I want this class to be very, very interactive. And for it to be interactive, I need us to also be giving me feedback. You can use the chat section. You can unmute and let us know. Just speak, and if you want, you can raise up your hand and we get the discussion going. So as you can see on the screen, I want to know the people I'm speaking with. I want us to know and connect, right? So the first question I want to ask, or that I want to throw into the house is, what's the last item you threw away, especially today? Like, can you recall if you have threw anything away today? If yes, what is it? I want to hear from like 2-3 people. So who is going first? Who is going first? What have you thrown away today? Okay, Bashir, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I threw away needle.
You threw away needle. Okay.
Yes,
Okay, that's great.
Okay, I'll go second. I threw away a pet bottle.
A pet bottle. Someone say sachet water. Who else? What did you throw away today?
I threw away Martina can.
Oh, you threw away Martina can. That's very beautiful. Okay. Who else? One more person and we move. Ellie, you want to say something? Yes, go ahead, please.
I didn't actually throw away what I used today. I have a bag which I gathered some plastic papers which I used in the house. So I kept the plastic paper in, let me say, trash bag.
Okay, that's great. The most important thing is at least we know that we are doing something, either intentionally or unintentionally. At least we know we are doing something, which means we are already either throwing away things or we are keeping things on the side. So this is not something for you to start judging yourself. It's just for us to be able to start on a good note that, look, all these things that we have thrown away, most of it we might believe that yes, it is a waste that we have actually, it's something we don't need again, right? So with that, I now have the first question. What is waste exactly? Like, for us, what is waste? What do we think is waste? For me, I'll start by defining it, right? I always tell people that when you talk about waste, before we even talk about managing it, we are talking of what are those things that we don't need again, right? As an individual. In another way, you can say, what are those things that I don't want again within my own vicinity? It automatically becomes a waste, okay? Because you don't have any use for it. But guess what? We as an individual, if we think just a little bit deeper, we can be able to definitely have the opportunity to also have one way or the other to give it another life, only if we give it time. But of course, we are not that patient. So what do? We discard them. Now, this is the best time for me to also let you know that, you see, when it comes to the matter of waste, is a word that has come to stay, and we know it already. Anything that we don't need or want again within our vicinity, we don't have use for. If I say let's start defining it on our own, right? I'm very, very positive that we are going to have different definition according to every individual. So I don't want to use any official Webster or UNDP. I'm not ready for that at this point. I just want us to be able to know these things. Some people, they call it trash. Other people call it garbage. Some call it waste, right? Anything that we don't have use for at this exact moment in our lives, it is already becoming a waste. And the moment we are ready to let it go, it's already a waste in our life. So that is it. And one very important thing is, you see, when we are talking about this waste thing, it can exist in any form of matter. So when we are talking waste, it goes beyond just what we have listed that we threw away today. A waste can be solid, a waste can be liquid, a waste can also be in gaseous form. Okay, now let's break it down a bit in terms of the types of waste, right? The first thing is, what is waste? Any unwanted material within our vicinity that we want to let go of is already a waste. Okay, so what are the common type of waste that we have within our vicinity? The first thing is, we have solid waste, which is one of the most common ones, just as you're seeing on the screen. The solid waste, right? The solid waste starts from our household waste, waste that we generate within our businesses, right? Most of it, the real name is called municipal solid waste. Of course, I don't want to restrict it to municipal solid waste, because what if I'm not in a municipal? What if I'm in a remote environment? Does that mean I don't generate waste? I do. So some of these waste, with the common ones, especially the ones that most of us have mentioned, I'm talking about the plastics, and even in the plastic, we have a lot of them. Like you have the HDPE, the LDPE, the PP, the PET. We have a plethora of these plastics. We have even the can that we have mentioned, right? The can, most of the cans that we use in Nigeria today are aluminum can, right? But they are tin cans, they are metal cans, like that's the iron items. We have a lot of metals that we use in doing this activity. Okay, so all these, they fall into solid waste. Okay, and when that's just solid waste, most of which are generated within the municipality, right? That is it. Then the next one is medical waste. Now, one very important thing here, let me mention is, you see, our hospitals and our health facilities, they are usually within the municipal or within the communities. But we try to categorize, we try to categorize this type of waste, especially because some of it, they have some contaminants, they need special treatment, they need even special handling. So they are a category on their own. Another very important one are the electronic waste, or the e-waste, which has come to stay. As we all know, just like what some of the points that was raised yesterday, Nigeria is one of the countries that is more of like a dumping ground. Of course, in a lot of our industries, we talk about our electronics, we talk about our vehicles, our machines, our tools. Most of these things, they are of second-hand value. So we are the ones giving it the second life. But of course, after that, we have to use the second value in it. If we have used it up, what happens to it? It becomes a waste. Most of it are the electronic waste, right? So if any of your electronics in your house is faulty, or it has packed up, what happens to it? It's already a waste. So that is another type of waste. Then we have another category of waste, or another type of waste within the solid waste, which is the industrial waste. These are the waste that comes from the industrial. Like, let's say we have an estate that is being constructed. You know, they use a lot of material to construct this estate. And afterwards, they need to the ones that they've done away with, the waste that is generated from there, definitely is already part of the industrial waste, or even some of our factories. Okay, we have them like that. Then the agricultural waste and the hazardous waste. So you see, when we talk about the hazardous waste, is something that we should also be very careful with. The hazardous waste can come from even our industrial waste, right? And it can also come from our medical waste, okay? And even sometimes, even from our municipal waste, okay? So most of these chemicals that we do with, for example, something as simple as our mosquito repellent, right? That chemical itself, it's something that it's already termed hazardous. So they will always, even they write on it, this is hazardous. You shouldn't even keep it. You should always keep it out of the reach of the children, right? So even handling the waste itself comes with a special activity. Now, on the right hand of the screen, there are two different type of waste, which we have the liquid waste and we also have the gaseous waste. So for the liquid waste, we have the sewage, just like things that we have from our sockaway, the industrial water discharge that they have after they have been able to do away with what they are doing on their within the facility. When they discharge it, of course, it becomes a liquid waste. We also need to find a way to manage such things. Then the gaseous waste. Most of us who has vehicles, what happens to the waste that is being emitted from our exhaust pipes, from our even the fumes that is being emitted from our cooking activity? These are gaseous waste. What happens to it? Okay. Then even industrial emissions, like if you go to refineries or you go to some of these factories that manufacture things, you always see from their fumes where they generate those gaseous items from there. So you see, there are different type of waste from the moment we wake up till when we go back to bed, right? We are constantly generating waste. Either it is for we as an individual or within our community. So this thing has come to be something that we need to really look for a way to make it work, right? And the thing is, if you look at what we have, like what you are seeing on the screen, all these waste, when you put them together, you will see, I need you to see, to think back, right? And have a look. I have about four pictures displayed on your screen right here. This is the reality that we face on a daily basis, at least for us in Nigeria right now, and some of the countries that we've had opportunities to know what they are doing. This thing is very common. You can see a sewage, a gutter as we call it, or it's a drainage system that is filled. Of course, it's supposed to be having a flowing water or a running water, but it is filled with garbage. And this thing is going to block that drainage. And if it blocks that drainage, that is something that before you know it, if care is not taken, it's going to cause flooding. Okay? It is as simple as that. Flooding, this is one of the main reasons. When we have excess water or excess downpour within a system and there is no direct place for it or direct channel for it to be discharged out of the city, right? What happens? Flooding comes. And this is one thing that we know, guys, like plastic waste. They are very notorious for things like this. Some organic waste, when mixed up also, they are very notorious. And funny enough, apart from this flooding thing, have you ever imagined or have you ever thought of when you are passing through a very beautiful street and you run into maybe at the tail end where there is supposed to be a temporary dump, right? And before you know, the people that are supposed to come and evacuate it, right? Just like the image you are seeing on the bottom left of the screen, right? You are seeing this is a typical example of a flow of material that ends up on the road, right? And people to come and evacuate this, they are not readily available. And before you know it, overflowing. And what happens when you are passing there, the sight alone is alarming. The smell is something else out of this world. And believe you me, it always affects people's emotion. And if you are not careful with the world that we are in today, it's not just your emotion that is at stake. We are also having issues with our mental health. Why? Because this thing is not healthy for us. Then another very important thing, especially the ones you have in the middle and the bottom right, you see the ones within our dump site, because most of the Nigerian settings and most of the African settings, what we have there is not landfills. Before we are even talking about engineered one, we are still operating on a dump site. The difference between a dump site and a landfill is a landfill is already engineered. It's a structure that has been built specifically for waste disposal. Most of it has a combustion chamber where they will burn off this in a controlled environment. But a landfill, a dump site is just a space that is being kept and everything just coming there. Their best way of incineration is just to burn it off. And when they are burning this off, God help the people within that environment. And what happens? The whole smoke will be in their houses, will be in their eyes. If it's close to the road, you are passing there, before you know, there is always fog and what have you. It caused a lot of problem, and that is the reality we are facing on a day-to-day basis, especially in Africa. Okay, so now let's run into an exercise with just this little that I have talked about, because I want us to be able to have this, bring this home to ourselves. I want us to be able to take ownership of this thing, so that whenever we are taking the action, you will be able to say, yes, it is something that I know. Okay, so I want I'm going to need let's say let's target 2. Then if we can get maybe 3, 4, fine, but I'm targeting to have 2 people, 2 volunteers, right? You're going to use 30 seconds. So you need to tell us, share with us with a waste management. Either you want to say it on the, you want to unmute and say it, or you want to use the chat session, so that let's know what let's share from our experience. I want us to learn from each other. So tell me in 30 seconds if you have a personal experience or is a community experience that you have with a poor waste management process within your vicinity. So I want you to share. So you can do that by a show of hand, then I'll call you, or you can drop it on a chat session where I will also read it out. Who is going first? Okay, Itayo, you have the floor.
All right, good evening. My name is Itayo. Thank you very much for the time and for all that you do. So in 30 seconds, where I live, some estate somewhere in Ibadan, we have this waste management organization that come around to, pack our waste twice in a month. Sometimes, especially the time we had this recent upward review of fuel pump price, they couldn't meet their twice in a month. In fact, it was more like once in 2 months. And at that time, we would have everywhere so messed up, so terrible, annoying. People, children, we trying to make sure our children don't come out. We're trying to put them in the car, avoiding them be anywhere around some of the places we put our waste. Always very dirty and messy. In fact, in community meetings, we are always just complaining until we had to find another different, I think, a private organization that is now supporting the initial organization to pick up our waste, and then it was then resolved. But it was really a messy experience when it happened.
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much. And believe me, I know that feeling, because it has happened to me once or twice within our own area, although ours was within the office setting. And believe me, it's not something that I'll even wish my enemy to have, because you'll be hearing things that you don't want to hear and smelling things that you don't want to smell. Yes, Vivi, please, you have the floor. Thank you very much for sharing.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Vivian Agbo. I'm from Cross River State. Precisely, I'm in Calabar. Okay, I could remember a time that's like 2 years ago when my former governor was still on seat. Just by the streets, you just see some persons dumping refuse, and even at the market, you just see refuse everywhere that you cannot even like look for a way for you to just pass to where you're supposed to go to. Everywhere will be stinking, everywhere will be smelling. So at some point, most of the street or most of the routes that people used to go to work was actually blocked because of those refuge. But thanks be to God for the recent governor. At least it's actually working when we have people like let's say Kuda, Urban. They come around most times, and most of the women actually go around sweeping the environment. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. That's really great. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you. Yes, who else is sharing? Especially our non-Nigerian audience. You can join the conversation. How is it happening within your country? How is it happening within your country? please join the conversation. It's not just about Nigeria. I know we have some either South African, Kelly. I don't know. I don't know if I'm correct. I want to hear from our non-Nigerians too if they are on the call today. Okay. So that's very. Thank you very much, Vivi, and thank you for sharing. Now, here's the thing. My own experience, one of my experience, because there are many things that I've faced within this few years of my life on Earth. There was a time within where I was staying in Abuja here, and what we were doing was there's this sewage that passed through the front of our compound, and we noticed that whenever it is raining season, that sewage pipe, or sorry, the drainage system during rainy season, people don't have much waste within their frontage anymore. So we came to realize that when there is running water, these guys, they go out and throw off their waste inside the water itself, the flowing water. And every time we do have the overflow of water within that drainage system, to the extent that it will block the road that we pass to get into the compound, right? So it gave us something that if there is going to be rain anywhere you are, you just have to start running and start getting yourself back home. If not, if the rain starts, you have to wait until it stops, maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour, for it to must have finished before you can even think of going back home. So that experience for us was really, really out of it. We had to keep to that for over, I think, for months, if not years, because for me, I spent just 2 years within that area before we started finding solutions. Of course, what ended up helping us was the fact that we had the opportunity to have a community where everybody listens, and at the end of it all, we came and cooperated, and anybody that is caught doing that is fined for that activity, and that's how we were able to come out of it. So thank you very much for sharing. Now, moving forward, what are the benefits for us even taking action? What are the benefits that we have for taking action? You see, the moment each and every one of us become a waste manager, right, it becomes a little bit easier first for the environment, because automatically we are going to have a check of clean environment. Sorry, someone is saying something on the group. Let me just check it briefly. Able okay, sorry about that. We will share the all right. Yeah, so back here I said the first thing is the moment we take ownership of our waste, the first benefit is our environment becomes cleaner, becomes lovely, becomes beautiful. Okay, just like when we can even have an opportunity to say, oh, which state or which city is the cleanest city in Nigeria, right? When we have that, believe you me, just by managing our waste, our own city and our environment automatically check the box. It's already a clean city, a clean environment. And where you have a clean environment, what comes with it? Healthiness. Our health also give a check. It's not rocket science. This is just normal thing. The moment we do only one activity, right, the next thing is we have a ripple effect. And that ripple effect is just by keeping our environment clean, we become healthy. And the moment we are healthy, we even have more energy, right, to go into economic opportunities. And when we talk about economic opportunity, what happens? We are talking about our pocket. We are Africans and we cannot dodge it. We can't go anywhere without it. We need some things in our pocket for us to move and function very well. Okay, so for us to do that, first, clean environment is very, very important. Healthier communities is very, very important. And economic opportunities will always be open for anybody who has already gotten these two things checked out. Okay, then what happens at the end of it all is our climate that we keep on talking about. Climate is changing. Believe you me, we will even have a chance. We'll stand a chance to be able to work with it, or to help it in reducing the effect and the impact. Right? Why does this matter? Now, look at it from this angle. Today, I remember some years back, let's say 5-10 years ago, when we were just coming up, right? In Abuja here, our rains do start from March, April. No matter what, in April, we are already seeing rains. This is 2025. And yes, for people in Abuja, I can tell you that a lot of us in Abuja, this May is already ending, right? And we are still struggling to still record a very heavy rainfall in Abuja, right? This is something that you need to go and check. Now, another thing, in 2024, imagine countries like Dubai, states like Dubai, right? Or Abu Dhabi in UAE. They are not just recording rainfall, but they are recording flooding, a desert land being flooded. Okay, do you know what that means? That is, the climate is not just changing by mouth. This thing is happening in real time. It's not, we were thinking, okay, maybe it's a fluke or there was something that happened. And Morocco too experienced flooding. These are desert land. And yes, if we come back home in Nigeria here, you are hearing all the problems we are having in the northeast, the Sambisa forest that is drying, is encroaching too much. What's the name? The Lake Chad that is drying up, right? It's causing a lot of havoc. If we go deeper into this, we can be able to connect the Lake Chad drying up, right? We connect it with the desert encroachment, and at the same time, you will see that all the insecurity challenges we are having in this country today, especially within the West African belt, right? We can trace some of the origins to this effect of climate change. I can tell you, if you go into research and go and look at some of the people that have done the work, even the cattle herdsmen issue we are having in Nigeria and West Africa, you can take everything and look at it very well. You see that climate change has a very significant issue there, because number one, these cattle rearers, they didn't just start today. They have been doing these things for ages. But if you go and meet them before they are doing whatever they are doing, their argument is, we cannot see grass to feed our cattle again, because people are building down there. What's the name? Farms are moving into our cattle routes. Okay, now why are people moving down there? Of course, fertile land is moving. Our municipality is expanding. We have all these things together, but all in all, if you put them together, right, we are already triggering, or we are having the impact of climate change there. Okay, so if you connect this thing, you see that climate change effect has a very ripple effect. It's not just about only the green whatever that we are doing, but it eats into our society, it eats into our economy, and it eats into our health. Okay, it's not just about the environment. So it has a lot of benefits if we are able to take action. That's just what I want us to know. But if you want to take action, you need to even understand how is the industry structured, right? So generally, if I am to ask a question here, what do you know about waste? Yesterday's conversation is for you to be able to understand that a lot of businesses, if not, I know it's not all the businesses anymore, because some businesses are already trying to rethink, right? But most businesses that we have in our system, especially in Nigeria, they are linear in nature, right? They are not secular. There is no much secularity in the products that we have in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole, right? I want to put my focus more on Africa and in Nigeria. All other places, of course, we know what they are doing and we believe they are doing great. But for us, we should be able to to take ourselves first. So most of the products that we have here, they are majorly not circular in nature, right, or in design. And why does this matter? Of course, we already know most of the products we consume here, most of them are not even produced here. So they didn't even design most of them for Africa, right? They just designed it for us to use. They don't have us in mind why they were designing it. So first, it is not designed with us in mind. Then secondly, it is not circular in nature. You see, this double problem. Okay, so what role do we have to play in this? You need to even understand what these things are and how they work. Okay, but I won't want to bore us with the product design, the design thinking, and how the product got to us. We already know we probably went to a supermarket or a mall or on the roadside or anywhere, or even an open market to acquire that product and got it into our house. And now we are done using it. We want to discard them. Okay. So at that point of we doing away with the waste that we have, we call ourselves, we as those people that buy this waste and this material that it becomes waste, we are the first people that we call ourselves on the far right, the waste generators. We all generate waste. Either it is solid, it is liquid, or it's gas. We generate waste. Okay, so the waste can be done within the household. It can be done within the community center, or even a factory, or even on the street. We can generate this waste. Okay, but after the generation, the next thing is we need collection, which is one of the main area that we have a lot of issues right now. Okay, for the collection, of course, in some of those other worlds that we believe they are out there, they are doing it now. Some of them, they even have coded bins where you don't have to put the recyclables from non-recyclables, the organic from non-organic, right? They already have that, but we don't have it. We don't have up to that sophistication right now. So what do? Our collectors just come in, they put everything together, they put it in their dump truck, and within them, they are the ones that go into segregation and what have you. Okay, so the first stage is we generate this waste. The next stage is someone has to come and collect it, except you are doing it as a business, right? Then after that, there is a stage of processing. Some people process it. So either you take it to a facility to process it, or within the vehicle is being processed, which usually this processing is all about segregation. After segregation, then either you bale it or you crush it, depending on the material. Then after that, any other thing that is not needed again, you dispose of them, right? Waste disposal, which is either going to the engineered landfill or going to a dump site. Okay, that's how that works. But for the ones that we have been able to recover after collection, right, during our processing, we recover some. What happens? So we don't dispose them. First, we send them for recycling, right? So within this recycling space, believe me, there are three different things that can happen there. It can be actually upcycled. That's, it is changed from that material to another material without necessarily changing the chemical formula of that, basically chemical formula of that material. You upcycle it. For a very deep, easy example is changing a tire, a car tire or a vehicle tire, right, into a furniture. That is upcycling. Okay, or you deciding to use your bottled water or soft drink bottle, which is PET by the way, to recycle it into your Zobo drink, right? Or your what's the name? Your Kunu drink or something of that nature, right? That is you upcycling, right? Other people will tell you it is reuse. That's also very, very correct, right? Reusing, upcycling, they work hand in hand. Then there's also downcycling. Now, for downcycling, it's like you are stepping it down. For example, you melt the whole PET and you turn it into another material. Usually, you can't just recycle it direct, except you have some technology. But you can downcycle it into another product. We don't usually talk about that because it's something a little bit tricky, and not many people do it. But a very an example for us to be able to know is when this car tire or vehicle tires, when they downcycle it and bring out what's the name, diesel. They generate diesel from that material, or they try to generate a rubber gum from that material. That they actually use a pyrolysis activity. Let me not go into that too deep, but that's downcycling that they do. Okay, then recycling, which means they try to recreate the same material from that material. So a PET bottle trying to go into another PET bottle again. So that is what recycling is more about, or HDPE material going back into a HDPE again. Is that what recycling really means? Ways we can do that. The first one is okay, yes, Vivi, can you go explaining? I need to let me. Message. Vivi, I can't get that message. Mute and ask again because message anymore. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. What I'm saying is that can you please explain again? Cycling, upcycling, and downcycling. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Okay. So when we are talking about recycling, upcycling, and downcycling, recycling means we are taking a material. It's just like a horizontal activity. We have a HDPE material, let's say a plastic cup, right? A plastic mug or a plastic chair. After we have come to the end of life of that, we have finished using it, we recycle it into another HDPE material. Okay, just like what Coca-Cola is trying to do for their plastic bottles. I think as of my last time that they are trying to recycle about 25% of PET into the virgin with the virgin material that they are using to reproduce another PET material. So that is recycling. Okay, upcycling means you are changing the material itself into another material. You are taking it into a higher level. A very good example is a tire or a vehicle tire. You are upcycling it into a furniture material, right? That is upcycling. Or you are turning a PET bottle into a flower vase. That is upcycling. Okay, now usually upcycling, you are not really changing the chemical formula, and even in recycling, most of the time you accept there are impurities that you are removing. Okay, but there is a lot of chemistry behind the scene. Okay, but downcycling, usually what happens there is you are altering the chemical formula. You are probably changing it from the exact material that it is to another material entirely. And I gave you an example of breaking down of tires to form diesel, or what's the name? What's the name of that thing? Yeah, diesel fuel. Fuel is usually gasoline, but the diesel that we use within our petroleum industry, or even a grease from there, right? So this is what we mean by downcycling. So moving forward, some practical ways. These are very simple, but this one we have to take ownership of this, because it can be as simple as us segregating our waste at our household or in our offices, just like what we are doing at Send Waste, at UpwardEco through Send Waste. Okay, we are trying and pushing and helping people to be able to. Okay, Vivi, maybe let me just run through, because we are almost at the end of the time, so that we'll take questions, and I'm almost at the end of the presentation. Okay, so we have waste segregation activity, composting of food waste activity, donating usable items, the one we don't need anymore, right? You can donate it to people who also will find value and extend the shelf life or the usage life. Okay, that helps. Or you can decide to say, oh, okay, why don't I even lend my voice onto this thing? Okay, you can try to organize or attend cleanup drive, set up a collection point within, and you connect with other organizations that are making use of this organizations. You can call them onto a negotiation table. It now becomes a discussion thing, right? Where you talk about the deals. Okay, if I aggregate this material and you are coming for it, how much are you going to pay me? Or how much will you buy it from me? If I supply it to you, how much will you buy it from me? Of course, UpwardEco also have something like that we do with some of our guys within Abuja, where we have our stronghold. Okay, so these are things that you can actively do, and once you do it, believe you me, you'll be achieving three things, which are economy, social, and environmental, right? You'll be achieving this goal. So now, before we call it a wrap, right? I don't know. There are some of us here that I believe that we are already doing some things. We won't hide it, right? We read through your submission during the your applications. We ran through them, and some of us are doing great things. So I don't know. I just need one person to be kind enough to tell us. Can you share one of the hack you are doing within your household or your community or your office? What exactly are you doing that is reducing waste actively? Share with us. We want to learn. If we have even more than one, believe me, I'll be so glad. You can do that by raising up your hand. If you want to share your story of how you are helping us achieving waste reduction within your locality or even within yourself, please, I want to hear from you. Who is taking the baton? Just raise your hand. And if you don't even want to raise your hand, you can just unmute and let's hear from you. Who is going first? Okay. Prince Will, go ahead.
All right. Good evening. Thank you for the
Good
time. Actually, I've been doing around since I gained admission. I've got the knowledge about environment and waste around. What I do this time around, I pick the empty cans and empty containers. I know that okay, for now I cannot be able to do maybe proper or technical recycling or more of machine recycling. What I do is I pick them, I gather them, even with their cups and cover, I keep them. So when I see these waste pickers or waste takers, I actually give it to them. So they now go to wherever they now sell it off. I just make sure that around me those materials, and then the ones that are biodegradable, I also gather them, then landfill them, then cover them up. But some of them that cannot be sold, like some of the sachet water, sachet materials, I actually make some holes at night, then get them inside and burn. When they are burned at night, I can actually then cover the surface soil area. So that's the part that I'm doing around me for now to make sure that okay, I have a clean environment and those materials, those cans and things and containers are not just thrown about occupying spaces they are not supposed to occupy. So I believe that maybe after now I will proceed in another level of maybe recycling as we are talking about. That's more reason why I think I am inside this lecture, this lesson, inside this environment or conversation. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow, that's very, very nice. And believe you me, that means a lot to the environment. But I wish you have actually told us you're already in the money. Where are you,
Huh? Can you hear me? You said?
Mr. Prince?
Oh, bad network.
Where is your
Yes, sir.
current location?
I am Port Harcourt.
Where is your
As a student, I stay at. I'm a student, University of Port Harcourt. Sir.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so you can also find a way for, because if you are looking for sustainability and you want to also get people to be more interested in what you are doing, our advice, connect with some other organizations that are into this, right? That are actively recycling. You don't need to first start as a recycler. Connect with them, right? So that within your university, you can even begin to talk to your friends, and so that it won't be as if you're even just giving those people. Aggregate to a point, and those guys can
Okay.
come in if they have a good quantity,
Okay.
right? Because I too am part of the recyclers, but I don't recycle. What I do is I aggregate, I collect, and I send to the recyclers. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
if you can be able get yourself all these things, you find the space, you are aggregating it, tell your friends and let them see you actively participating, they will join you. We are Nigerians, we are human beings, we are Africans, right? And the most important the unique thing about us is we love seeing our people do things, and we mimic it. There's a ripple effect with it. So if you do it,
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Network is bad. Network is bad. I can still hear you.
hello, confirm you can still hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, can
Signal was.
anyone? Oh,
Thank you, sir.
okay, perfect. So as I was saying, just try to connect with some of these recycling companies around that is closer to you, and try to monetize the activity. And believe you me, you are going to
Okay, sir. Thank you.
the final aspect.
Uh, I will try. I'll try and do that as I can connect to recyclers around.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So I don't know why like my network is fluctuating. But the most important thing is at this point, we just need to know what are the things that we can do to localize our actions, right? And of course, I promise you this is the final slide, right? The first thing is we need to localize this our problem. We need to localize them. And for us to localize it, how do we do it? The first thing is, one, identify these problems. Our problems are unique in our own way. Believe you me, what works in Abuja might not necessarily work in Port Harcourt. The same thing that might be working in Lagos might not necessarily work in Maiduguri. Okay? You need to identify your own waste problem. About flooding within the state. Okay? There are some states who does not worry about flooding. It's erosion that is their problem. Okay, so you need to identify your own people who are doing things within the waste economy. Okay, of course, if you have the moat, you have the financial power, you can now begin to think about starting a recycling club, of course, because it's all about the finance and the time and the energy for you to be able to start a recycling within your school or within schools that you have access to. Then, of course, you can connect with the local authorities. Most of these authorities, they are waiting. They don't just know how or where to come in. With your little knowledge and expertise, you can begin to even harmonize and work with them. Okay. Then, aside that, and most importantly, please don't stop at educating your peers. No knowledge is too little. No knowledge is too big. Keep talking about it, because the more you talk about it, believe you me, the more it gets there. We are human beings. We love repetition. The more I talk to you about a specific thing, the more it goes into your brain, the more it sits well with you. And very importantly, you need to not just talk about it, but you act. Show them. You need to show them. In my area, if they see me, they because that if I am going to take water from a plastic bag or from a plastic bottle, that plastic container must go to where I want it to go. And usually it's not on your dump site. It's either going into my bag and go to the proper channel of the bin, or it's going to the exact bin that is in my front. There I know it's going to have something to do. So with that, I say this evening we have been able to talk about waste activity, some of the things that we can do, and very importantly, it's something that, whether we like it or not, is here already. It's a challenge, right? But for us, we see it as an opportunity. There is a big business within the waste management sector. And if you know what you are doing and you are interested in this industry, there is enough to go around. In short, we don't even have enough people within the waste management activity. So this is your assignment for the day. You are going to create a personal or group waste action plan in 5 steps. Okay, so this is for the whole week before you are going to submit it. But I think they're going to be working. So for that, that's what we are doing. And with that, I'll say this is where I'm going to pause. Let me get feedback, question, comments, or recommendations on how we are supposed to be going forward from this. So let me get your feedback, let me get your questions, and before we call it a wrap. Thank you very much. You can, if you want to ask a question, you can either drop it on a chat box, you can show your hand, or you can even unmute and let's begin to talk. I have 3 minutes now. I went there. Oh, okay. Oh, no. Okay, so can anyone still hear me? Thanks. Okay, so at this point, I think it's best we just have 2 minutes. There won't even be more time for me to take any questions or feedback because we want to really keep to time. Now, the assignment is going to be shared. The slide is going to be shared too. Although the video recording might come tomorrow, but I'll make sure the slide is shared tonight or within the early hours of the morning, so that we have access. With that, I say thank you very much. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate. We are very grateful for all the opportunities to interact and engage with all of us. And with that, I say thank you and have a very wonderful night rest. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you too, sir. Goodbye.
Thank you. Good night.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night too.